If you're on just 1 health, the bomb's explosion radius is a bit scary. Sure, you know roughly where you'll be safe from, and if you have time you'll try to get even further away, just in case. But even pros still get caught out by it from time to time, especially when the bomb's planted in an unusual position, or where parts of the map aren't as far away from each other as they might seem. Of course, I'm referring to that ludicrous display earlier this month where JT died in Banana from a bomb planted at A. Where else can this kind of stuff happen? Inferno's a great map for it, since while it may take a while to run around the map, some parts of it are closer to each other than you might think. Like bombsite A and Banana, for example. Would he have been safe had he run a bit further? No, not really. The explosion seems to reach most of Banana. The cubby near the bottom's safe, but even in this corner at the top, the explosion will still chip a point off your armour. And then the damage increases as you head up towards B again, only reaching safe levels again at around where these flowers are. That dark spot near ruins is also safe, and reaching level to the well beyond CT spawn is as well. But don't stop until you get there. If you plant in the corner close to this box, it can reach all the way to the door in apartments, and then some. You have to be a few stairs up to escape it completely. Nowhere in underpass is safe either, and I took damage from some parts of the deck, but this wall of kitchens seemed to be just beyond the bomb's reach. I wish I could show a radar overview like this, but it doesn't tell the full picture because the map isn't flat. You might think the variations in height on a map like Inferno would be small enough not to matter, but you'd be wrong. Even modelling a 3D ball to represent the explosion didn't work. In some places it was accurate, but in others, not so much. So rather than to battle with an approximate system, I chose to do it the old-fashioned way. Seems the best way to test whether or not the bomb can reach you in certain places is to boot the map up and to test whether or not the bomb can reach you in certain places. So a bomb blaster A can reach Banana na, but it can happen the other way around too. If you plant in this corner of bombsite B, the explosion will still reach anywhere along the wall with the bench, along the close side of CT spawn, and will even deal a point of armour damage from this corner inside library. If you want a safe spot, then standing in this corner by the tank is an option. I found it to be safe from both bomb sites, regardless of plant position. But only just. It goes without saying that a bomb planted at B will get you in this cubby at the top of mid. And for up to 8 points of damage at that. And it will continue to tag players stood on the opposite corner from it. It isn't even the best bomb plant zone to reach this area, but it'll still get people at the bottom of mid. But I think once you reach around this corner, you'll be safe from any bomb planted at B. It made me realise that for people looking to taunt the other team in petty new ways, they should go out of their way to plant in obnoxious spots like this to increase their chances of scoring meaningless but quite irritating points of damage off surviving enemies. What about on other maps? I feel we should cover Dust 2, or with it being the best map in existence ever. Long A is a classic spot because every player roughly knows how far the bomb's explosion can reach. It reaches somewhere close to pit, doesn't it? But how close? And where should you plant if you want to make your escape in this direction as stressful as possible? Had I not tested this, I would have advised you not to plant like this. Firstly because it's a stupid place to plant, but also because even though it's as far towards pit as you can plant it, I would have assumed its extra height would have cancelled out any benefit, especially as most of this map is below the height of this bomb site. But it seems planting here will cause the damage to reach further into pit. If you want to be safe from this blast, try to reach far enough into pit that your head is below the level of the road. Then you should be safe. But this guy here's not doing that, so will sustain at least 1 point of damage from the perfect bomb plant. Planting in the other sticky out corner will not be as dangerous for those in pit, but will reach people who are stood in long doors, about here. I don't know about you, but I'm always paranoid some score boosting CT is going to poke out from these as I'm watching the explosion from pit. But now I'm a little happier, knowing that, although he might kill me, being stood there, the bomb blast will knock his armour down to 99. A fate worse than death indeed. And the third spot you can plant at A is right here if you want to maximise damage done to players stood in middle, CT spawn, or in that bit that goes past the mid doors. I know, the cutoff point doesn't look much like a sphere, but that's why I'm here. You must be level with these bricks on the way up to B to avoid damage completely, and in B tunnels, you'll still lose a point of armour as far back as this corner right here. And if you think that's bad, the ramp at mid is even worse. The explosion will inflict 1 point of armour damage pretty much all the way up the slope. To get to a safe distance, you have to be stood at the top of mid, behind where this cable's shadow is. Ridiculous. And it's strange how some locations immediately drop from 2 damage to 0, while others, such as this one, linger on 1 point of armor damage for a while. So over to bomb site B, if you want to plant for maximum damage, then it has to be this corner here, because it can reach so far out in all directions. It will knock off a few points of damage to people stood in CT spawn, unless they're practically stepping out into A. It'll even get players stood near the wall at extended A. And this plant at B is, if anything, even more dangerous in middle than that A plant was. You have to be stood behind this crate, or further back still, before it stops dealing damage. Anywhere up the ramp in middle will inflict at least 1 point of armor damage. Ridiculous. And it's strange how some locations immediately drop from 2 damage to 0, and I've already said all this, why is this in the script again? And there's another magical cutoff point, and that's outside the tunnel on the B side of the map. Despite my best efforts, I could not hurt a player who was stood outside here. The moment you enter the tunnels, you risk sustaining at least 1 point of damage, but remain outside and you're golden. So that's it for Dust2 and Inferno. Are there any other maps you'd like tested? Where will he die? Find out next time.